Okay, kind of got things roughed out a little bit. Don't know for sure. This is just, I made the final connection based on the wiring diagram. And so I've got a test pack here. I'm going to plug it in, make sure no smoke comes out. So far so good. Okay. So something's weird. We've got the flywheel kind of wanting to turn in different directions. That's interesting. Turn all the way down. Okay. Okay, motor steers backwards, just need to flip those. So I think first off, I should be able to just flip these wires, which the instructions say to solder them on at the bottom of these connectors, but for the testing purposes, I'm just going to keep these like this. Okay. And just confirming everybody's happy. That kind of came out. Okay, so that part works. But okay, so that means this guy should be okay, and so let's just real quick like. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and stick this guy down, and okay, let's try this again. Okay, flywheels. Okay, everything seems to be okay, so I'll grab, what is this? It's a 2S, we'll just try that real quick because it's handy. And then I'll go grab a 3 just to confirm everything's good to go. So, we have full power on both rheostats. Wow, okay, that just vibrated the motor screws out. Okay, interesting. That was quick. Anyway, we had things running, so that's cool. So I'll make a few little repairs, and hope I don't destroy these wheels in the process. And then we'll go through, we can clean up some wiring. I left stuff real long here, just because I didn't want to go cutting these things up. Since they already were in like predetermined lengths, so I figured I'd just rough it out. If everything's all hunky-dory, then we can go through and trim everything up, tuck everything in nice, get these guys set in, get the knobs put on, and smile a whole lot. So, yeah, I'll fix this issue and catch you in a minute. Okay, just got a few shell screws put in. Got the pigtail hanging out. Nothing, just kind of sitting in there a little bit. So let's go ahead and get the, just double check that. Okay, so LiPo on there. Okay, that seems to be working there. Now let's... Okay, so why don't we take this guy and we'll see what we're working with here. I'll rest of the garage is in a mess right now, so I'll aim off this away. What the heck is that? Okay, just looking to see what the heck's going on. Not sure why it's not wanting to feed. Okay. I think I know what's going on. What we have is a fitment issue that I was a bit concerned with. So let's do this real quick. I think I mentioned it earlier. The screw that holds the actual pusher slidey bit is a bit snug, like the way the actual pusher sits on that shaft is a little snug. So I don't know if I need to just give it a little loosey. Because what it's doing is it's pushing, and then when it retracts, like here, it snaps back pretty nice, but that's because there's no friction from a dart. Whereas when this is in there, it's basically dragging on the dart, you know, the top of the next dart, and that's slowing it down enough that it's not bringing the pusher all the way back. It's not tripping the shut-off switch guy here, so I'm gonna give that guy a little loosey. And he's still a bit snugger than I think I'd like, so maybe let's take okay, that feels a little better. So now let's... And that was probably causing some of the misfiring issue, is because the pusher wasn't able to retract far enough to let the next dart up. So can't go faulting anybody yet. It's just a weird, like I said, a tolerance issue here. Not huge, but a little unfortunate. Okay. But no flywheels. Okay. Oh, looks like another wire came out. We might just have to go ahead and just solder those on, because apparently this doesn't make it very serviceable. I thought it was a good idea at first to just use the set screws on here. Ah, I see. Okay, we'll try this again. Interesting. Okay. I think part of the issue here is that it appears the pusher isn't retracting back far enough still because it's crashing into the switch. So apparently there's a clearance issue on the switch itself, which seems a bit peculiar. So apparently if your darts, since there's a little bit of room fore and aft, within the magazine, apparently if they're back too far, then that makes it unhappy. So let's go ahead and burn this out the rest of the way, and then we'll open it back up. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of the feed issues are caused by using old darts, which is why I'm using old darts, besides the fact that all I have right now is old darts. But if you can't run something with old darts, what, is it like a single-use thing, or what? I don't see, I don't like to test things under, like, laboratory perfect conditions, because I rarely ever use my stuff in laboratory perfect conditions. So, which is why I don't really record a lot of data, because data can be gathered in laboratory conditions, but I want, like, real-life type, or real-world applications. So, which you can see, let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, nice. Okay. What you may or may not be able to see is that the pusher comes back, has room enough to travel here, but crashes into the switch. So, I guess we could just file the back of the pusher a little bit until it fits right. I'm just going to pull the switch loose just a tiny bit, just to where it will move out of the way enough. Then we can see if it lets the pusher go the rest of the way back. And yes, okay. So, I think what we're going to do is do a little fine-tuning here. I don't know if that's just a matter of... I don't know how if the swordfish has the same issue, since this kit is designed to work with that, or if it's just a matter of the molding being slightly incorrect on the destroyer to Dominator here. So, slip that guy on there. I'm going to remount the switch, because the switch really can't be adjusted, because it's a matter of actual, like, if it was just a matter of like the arm on the switch being an issue, we could tweak that. But of course, crashing into the housing itself, I think we're just going to got this guy here, where it's got kind of a sharp edge here, like that. We're just going to round him off just a little bit and see what that does. Okay, now you can see here, it comes back just behind that little ramp, which is kind of where I wanted it. And I just, like I said, took the file and took it off about like that. I mean, it's going to be a trial and error deal to get it to fit perfectly, apparently. So just be aware of that. But there again, not knowing about what the tolerances are like on the manufacturing, yours might be fine, but this is what I'm experiencing. So now we have a pusher. I guess I should hook that up. Okay, so maybe let's try this again. I'll go reload the mag and be back in a second. Okay. We again loaded with the same miscellaneous, just out of the dart bin darts. And hopefully this will work just absolutely flawlessly this time, because obviously that's what you want, ideally, and you're hoping it's a good product, so... Really didn't like that guy. Okay, it appears here that, there again, because we have kind of squishy-ish darts, I think it's just not wanting to, since nobody's really committing to being in the top spot, like that. They're both kind of down the side because they're old darts. The pusher was up here doing its pusher thing and not really catching anybody, so let's bounce them around a little bit. And... okay. So that, as was kind of expected by pretty much everybody, is going to be an issue. I'm going to go ahead and run some more tests, not necessarily on camera, just because that's boring. And kind of let you guys know what I think. So far, I have my doubts about the longevity of these. But there again, a lot of people who are doing a lot of serious wars count on darts being like a single-use deal. And so they go to the war knowing that they're either going to lose their darts or they're going to be nasty and not even usable by the time they get ready to come home. So I suppose if that's your style, then that's not going to be so much of an issue here. And especially, we have a lot higher quality darts than say regular Nerf type or branded darts are. So yeah, I'll do some more testing on this and get an idea of what kind of jams we get and what conditions and how to avoid and stuff like that. And I'll report back in a little bit. Okay, as far as assessment here, I just can't say I'm really a fan of the big brick here. I mean, it's for starters, like my first impressions when I first pulled this out of the box was that the fit is very snug. It's not like it's oversized. It's like it's not like it was designed incorrectly. It's just something about it is just so snug that you really have to, whereas a lot of stuff is, has a little bit of friction or whatever, it's not just a drop out. There's no way you can get that to drop out. You gotta be serious about, yanking on it, make sure you have the button in all the way. You can't just kind of sneak it out. And you also have to line it up just right. It's nice that there's no wiggle, I will give it that, but it's not a clean, satisfying feel. It doesn't feel like you're putting something in there that belongs. It feels like you're putting something in there that kind of fits. And that's the only way I can really describe the tactile difference of this mag versus others. Also, it's really awkward to load. Like, you know, like when you're loading a mag, you kind of get that rhythm of, you know, just kind of boomity boomity boom, you know, put the thing in, slide it, do. When you're loading a standard mag. This doesn't have that, because while it starts off, it has kind of the little staggered follower here, so it says like this one goes here, the next one goes over here. By the time you get halfway down, you get like this one, you push it off and it's going crooked, so you stick the next one in, and then you got to kind of like shuffle them around a little bit, make sure everybody's happy and getting along, and then you got some that want to stack up on top of each other instead of stacking next to, and yeah, it's there again, I'm sure with like brand new darts it might work a whole lot better, but I don't use brand new darts all the time, and I'm sure a lot of people don't. If you're running like really solid foam darts that are brand new all the time for all your games and stuff, then I imagine you'll still have the issue, but where the there we go, where the magazine and the way the pusher relates needs to fit like this. So often I was having them that, you know, whether this one kind of bump up this way a little ways, you know, just in the course of feeding, they kind of bounce up a little bit. You get this, and neither one of them will engage the pusher, and so you'll get the pusher, it just kind of tickles it on the back, just kind of right, you know, right there at the end. But it won't actually engage either one into the flywheels. And so you got to pull the mag out, poke it around a little bit, see if you can get everybody straightened out, and then, you know, get the leader back up in there. And then you're okay. And then when it feeds good, it feeds really good. And I will give it that it works better than I really expected. But it doesn't work as well as I would like it to, or as well as I expect. I mean, I have certain expectations of blasters, not only on a toy grade, but also even hobby grade. It's like, I need this to perform, you know, reliably. I need it to perform to this degree, and this doesn't quite do it under my circumstances. There again, like I said, if you had fresh darts all the time, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. Also, it's just awkward to me to grab onto. I mean, I got smaller-ish hands for adult hands, you know, but it maybe also has to do with the fact you have to really pull on it, but it's kind of like grabbing a 2x4. In fact, that's probably not too far off. But it's, I don't know, and there's really no shape. It's not like regular mags are tapered a little bit on the ends, so even if I'm trying to stick them into a dump pouch, or not a dump pouch, but a mag pouch or something, you're able to sneak it in a little better. But with a square, I think it'd be a little more difficult. That said, dimensionally and everything, I've got my NC Star chest rig that I used to use all the time. When you load it in, it fits. Like if you use the bungee strap that goes over the top to keep everybody in, I'm sure it'll be great, but I usually don't, because standard mags fit in just enough to where they'll move around a little bit, but they won't jump out at you under regular use. This here is a Firefly Mag that's just slightly thicker. Actually, it's a little bit thicker than this guy too, just to give you kind of an idea of overall width. But it would slide out and in pretty good. There again, those corners kind of get you a little bit, but as far as carrying them, they will, obviously, because they're not quite as wide as a double stack of conventional mags, but they are a bit loose. So if you do run your mag pouches open, relying on the natural little bit of friction that keeps these guys in place, that may not work as well, because they do just jump out really good. There again, I will reiterate, I'm not saying that doesn't work. If you had the strap over the top, like a good deal of people do, for that extra security, then I'm sure it'll be fine. That'll keep them in, and they'll slip out super nice. But just to give you an idea of how that fits. That all being said, I'm not a personal fan of the brick for my playstyle. If you qualify for all the circumstances that I listed earlier, then I'm sure they'll be fine. If you say, I want to only reload, 50% of the time, so I want to carry, twice as many darts roughly, then you're willing to relearn how to fluidly load in a hurry, learn how to carry them, adapt. If you have currently actual fast mag type holders and you want to design something or wait for something else to come out, then that's up to you. If you're willing to file the inside of your mag well or sand the outside or the inside of your mag well or outside of the magazine itself to get that smoother, more efficient loading, then that's up to you. If to me, it's like all these sacrifices for the better capacity. If that is worth it to you, then absolutely. If these things aren't, I mean, you're getting double the capacity for like another extra 50% or an extra half of the price. So you're getting like 3/4 of the price for double the darts. So if that's worth it to you, then, you know, and you're willing to sacrifice all these other things, then that's totally cool. Then I respect that. That's your style. Then good. But if you're not willing to sacrifice all of those things, if you want something you can just be happy with, that it works with everything else, and it's beautiful and wonderful and amazing, maybe it's not quite for you. Maybe you should wait for one of your friends to buy one and play with it, just to confirm, because this is a rather wild departure from the norm. I mean, we've gotten mags that are really long, mags that are kind of curvaceous, mags that are drums and stuff like that. We can adapt to a lot of things, but this is such a radical departure from what we know already. If you're willing to take that on, then by all means, go ahead. But just trying to let you guys know of all the potential issues that these will have for you. Like I said, when they work pretty good. I was actually surprised at the reliability when they work right. There again, I guess the consistency, I guess, not reliability, because they are not quite reliable. So, yeah. That's how I feel about this so far. So I think I will be keeping the adapter pieces, and I'll probably just go ahead and glue them in place, just so they're not, because they do just kind of go in and stick with a, like, this has got a peg on it, that's got a little hole on it, and you just kind of plug it in, and the fact that there's a magazine in there most of the time is what keeps it there. But this here is such a beautiful fit. There's very, very little, if any, wiggle, and it's just a perfect drop. Hold it up straight. It just drops out super clean. That is the same fit. It's just a wonderful fit with the other worker mag. Even with conventional Nerf mags, then it just drops right out. Wiggles a little bit, no more than anything else. It's actually a little bit better fit than a lot of stuff, but still has that really clean drop. So, like I said, I'll be probably gluing these in place and just sticking with the conventional magazine, because it works better for my hands, for my carrying, for you know, my loadouts and everything. That's just much more familiar, and I use old darts. So if you are like me and, you know, play the way I play, then maybe you should pass on this as well. Just throwing that out there. So yes, that's kind of my analysis for that. So I'll be sticking with this. That being said, as far as the blaster itself goes, I had kind of mixed expectations. I mean, after the swordfish kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, I wasn't quite sure what to think of this. I figured at first it'd be one of those things that if you want to go, you know, with dual flywheels or some kind of tri-power setup, that's, you know, that would be, you know, if you don't want to be like adapting stuff to existing blasters and things, then this would be right up your alley. And I was kind of on the fence about, you know, the blaster itself, but I actually kind of like it. I mean, as far as it's got the options, it's got the provisions for the potentiometer things, which I think is pretty cool. I was kind of skeptical at first of that. I'm not quite sure how well these are spec'd for the application, just based on previous community experience. I'm not sure if you put hotter motors in here, because I'm not quite crazy about the worker motors either. It's a lot longer spool up than I'm accustomed to. It sounds like you're asking for a lot more RPM than you need. At the same time, you're not getting the immediate spool up that I personally like. I would rather have a lower final RPM, but a really, really quick spool up, so you can get good snapshots off. But there again, that's me. So I'll probably be swapping this out. Also, I was getting, like, with this cage, with these wheels and these motors, it was getting about like 120. There again, it's a 43.5 millimeter cage. I'm not sure about the amount of crush on the wheels. They're these kind of rose goldy, slightly concave, not serrated, but they got the little groovies in them. I'm not quite sure how the math works on those as far as what the final crush number is, or the equivalent, but I might be trading those out because I don't need the enlarged feed ramps or anything if I'm just going to stick with a conventional magazine. So I'll probably be swapping that out. The grip, I kind of like the handguard because I kind of like the handguard detail. It's just, you know, aesthetics and stuff. It doesn't seem to detract from anything unless you're accustomed to grabbing the magazine this way, which you can still kind of do easily enough if you're not, you know, if you're grabbing with the front end of the mag. At least with the stuff I was doing, playing with it, I was able to fairly effectively do it. And I'm sure if that was something you're wanting to field more often than not, then it's something you would learn. The grip itself is fairly comfortable. I wish it was a bit wider, and I think it's the same dimensions as the swordfish. I might be adding some kind of handle scale or something just to give it a little more comfort for me personally, but that's me knowing my hands and what my hands like. The auto kit seems to work fine. There was those issues with just that clearance there, but with the rest of the testing I've done today, it seems to be working fine. I do like the ability to adjust the rate of fire. I don't need this one quite as much. I mean, I figure if I'm just buying motors that do what I need it to do, I don't need to worry about it. But I do like being able to crank up the rate of fire to where it's just, or bring it back to where it's more. I do like that a lot, because sometimes you just want to, but other times you just need to. So I do like that. I like how everything fit. There's plenty of room for wiring and everything. I like having the separator area for the electronics up here, so you're not trying to fit them in weird places. I wish they could do something about the battery door and being more accommodating to, you know, I think I'm probably going to put the flat door on and just do a power stock thing that's better than this. This just gets by for a minute. But no, I think this is definitely something I'm going to go ahead and build up. I think it is worth that. It wouldn't be worth buying this if you are just like, hey, I just want to build something. Then, I mean, why not just do a strife or whatever? If you do want to do multiple stage, then by all means, this is really the only difference. I mean, I think dimensionally, as far as these are all like strife, swordfish, internals. Everything here is just strifey. This is basically a strife rapid strike cage. It's just strife here. Really, all this kit offers, for the most part overall, is it looks cool, but it's got the provisions for the piece up here. The extra stages. So that's really, I guess, all there is to say. It's one of those things where it's not like, this is the best product in the world, go out and buy it. It's like, if you want this, then you want to buy this. But if you just need this, then you can just get the same effect with a strife or even a swordfish. Unless you like the aesthetics, you like the handguard thing, you like the shell detail or the whole flat top and everything, then that would be the only real difference. So I'll go ahead and put the links to everything in the description, and if you're interested, then you may by all means go and purchase things to your heart's content. But yeah, I look forward to seeing more on this in the future. I'm not sure what its future looks like, but I'm gonna do something though. I do like this. I'm probably going to build this for a personal use, for a personal build. We'll see you next time. Wishing blue skies and green lights to you and yours, and may all your troubles be teeny weeny ones.